What's up guys, Mark back here with yet another video, and today I want to talk to you about this guy. This is the Sigma 30mm f 1.4 E-mount. I have had this lens now for probably about 2 months or so. I have used it in a multitude of different situations. So if you guys don't want to wait for me to talk about all the different pros, cons, and all that kind of stuff, just know that this, for the E-mount system, is probably one of the best lenses that you can buy. The build quality on this lens is just absolutely phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about how this lens is constructed, especially for its price. You're looking at a lens that's roughly only about $350. I think it's personally a little bit better than the 50mm and the 35mm prime lenses that Sony offers. That has to do mainly with the fact that the focusing ring on this particular lens is so good. I mean, it's extremely smooth. It has like just enough dampening that it feels very crisp, very smooth. I mean, it is just, I don't know, it's just a really nice feeling focusing ring. Much better, again, to me, than the 50mm and the 35mm that Sony offers. Some people might like the metal ring on the Sonys just a little bit better. I personally just happen to like this rubberized texture on the Sigma a little bit better. I think it's pretty damn fantastic. As I said initially, this is a 1.4 30mm. 30mm on an APS-C size body equates to roughly a 45mm. So it would basically become your 50mm. 50mm effectively becomes about a 75. So it becomes your 80mm. So when it comes to portraits, this thing is just stupid sharp, like ridiculously sharp. I know that a lot of people love really sharp images. I don't happen to necessarily be one of them, especially when I'm shooting faces, especially when I'm shooting you know, extremely close up. There are instances in my mind where I don't want the image to just be so sharp that you can see every tiny pore on a person's face. And I'll give you an example here right now. This thing does a really good job, even in really dark conditions, as far as facial tracking, locking on. I've got the focus motor on slow so that it has a really natural focusing motor, but let me just show you how well this thing does. So I'm gonna move in, slow focus, here I am, like really close. I mean, you can literally see every single detail on my face, which is weird. So if you don't want every single flaw exposed, you're probably not gonna wanna use this lens on yourself. But I mean, I'm only about, I don't know, 8-9 inches away from the front element of this lens. The background looks really nice and blurred out, but whatever is in focus, I mean, is just tack sharp. It's really quite amazing. Now, as far as the size and the weight is concerned, I don't find this this lens to be all that big, all that bulky. Some people have said in the past that it's not really well suited for the E-mount line. I don't find that to be the case whatsoever. Yes, there are smaller lenses. The Sigma 19mm lens, which I'm filming on right now, it is much smaller. It is significantly lighter, but really these small E-mount A6000 line of cameras are well suited to hold this size lens. This does not seem overly big to me, overly bulky. I even find that the 18-105 that Sony puts out still is a really good lens for this particular system. So I don't think that it's bad in any way, shape, or form as far as I'm concerned. One of the best parts about this lens is the fact that it's actually a 9-bladed aperture. So when it comes to bokeh, this lens honestly performs better than the native Sony lenses. Especially if you're looking for really nice, round, soft bokeh balls in the background. If that is very important to you, I know for a lot of wedding photographers, that's a big deal. They want the softer bokeh, they want a better fall off, and if you're wanting a more circular bokeh without any harsh edges or jagged edges, this, in my opinion, would be the better choice over, say, like the 50mm. You are going to get slightly better autofocusing performance out of those E-mount lenses. I will grant you that, but it is so significant, or so not significant. I mean, it's very, very small amount of difference between the native E-mount lenses from Sony and the Sigma. I'll just put it to you this way, I don't notice it. And of course, if the slight difference in performance gets on your nerves, you can always adjust your track speed, which does in fact help. I have not found myself in enough situations where I think that it would bother me, so I haven't really let it bother me. If it does, if it is critical that you do track fast moving subjects and you want the focus to be really, really snappy, and you want every single advantage possible, you might want to consider just going ahead and going with a native E-mount lens. But if the ultimate, if you need the ultimate in brightness, you want the better bladed aperture with the bokeh balls, then the Sigma is definitely going to be something that you're at least going to want to try out, especially for $350. It is well placed in the lineup that it makes it worth it for the little bit of extra over the 50mm because of its larger aperture and its 9-bladed aperture. Now, let me go ahead and say this too. In video mode, I used it in several different situations, all of it not involving anything that was extremely fast moving. So I used it in situations where I just wanted to capture a scene, and in video mode, I thought that it performed extremely well. When you want a nice, crisp, sharp image, using it in video mode, using it in single point autofocus mode, having any of those situations, you're going to get an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous image. I don't like to shoot in S-Log a whole lot. It just takes up so much extra time to try and get that stuff right in post, that the overall performance of S-Log with this lens would be fantastic for those that like to use it. I prefer the Cine 4 profile. That's probably my favorite. And it's so much easier to grade. It's so much easier to get a look that I enjoy. And a lot of the scenes and situations that I use it in, it performed absolutely perfect for my needs. Now, for those of you that are doing still shooting, there is a lot to love about this lens. This lens performs so well. It is so sharp. It snaps to focus very quickly. I have noticed on a few occasions where it would kind of hunt a little bit. I don't know if that can be remedied with firmware updates. I've not tried to update the firmware of the lens. I don't have the dock, and I really honestly haven't looked into it enough to know exactly if there's some sort of workaround so that you don't have to have the dock. But you can grab some just absolutely amazingly detailed images. So if you're a photographer and you mainly do photography, in my opinion, there's no question that you should buy this lens. You should buy it right now. I'll have links in the description below, so if you want to support the channel, you do that. If not, I don't really care. But the fact is that if you are a photographer and you do landscapes, if you do wedding photography, if you want tack sharp images, if you want absolutely gorgeous depth of field, if you want perfectly circular bokeh balls, if you want dramatic yet soft and gradual fall off, this lens is an absolute must buy. And as soon as I got it, I knew combined the build quality, the brightness of the lens, and everything that I had already seen online, this was one of those lenses that I just absolutely positively had to have. So, I mean, ultimately, who's the lens for? I think it's for damn near everyone that owns a Sony E-mount camera. If you have any desires for the best in image quality that you can currently get, especially in the sharpness department, you're going to want to buy this lens. It does suffer a little bit from some chromatic aberration, so if you are a still shooter, most of the time you'll be able to correct that in post. For video shooters, you'll want to be careful in certain situations. But other than that, the vast majority of the uses and the use cases that I have put this lens into, it has worked absolutely beyond my expectations. And I know that a few of you guys are going to ask if I'm going to recommend this lens to me, blah, 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 for this particular situation, and I'm just going to say yes. There's not many situations that I can find that this lens would not perform well in. Sigma has been just knocking it out of the park here lately with a lot of their lenses, especially their 18-35, their 50-100. Sigma makes amazing lenses right now. And if you are planning to do any kind of shooting with the A6300 or an A6500, get this lens. So there you guys have it. There you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this review video. And if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to support the channel, please use those affiliate links in the description box down below. Also, if you would prefer to support me on Patreon, I've got a Patreon page, and I've also got some fantastic photography merch. Check out the merch store. It'll be in the description box below as well. At any rate, guys, thanks again so much for watching this video. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I will see you guys again on the next one. Peace.